I say it, I say it again, you've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
What up? What's good, everybody? It's your boy Rich. Real Talk with Rich is back in the building one more again. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing all right. Let's just get into the shenanigans. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Tell a friend, tell a hater, tell a whole lot of folk. We live. We here in the building one more again. And tonight we are going to be getting into some foolishness. And I had to get my man, I called up Denzel and I said, hey, we got some stuff to talk about. So tonight, as you can see this, you see the picture on the screen. Shout out to, rest in peace to Gary Coleman. But the internet is trash. The internet, I had to share this. People are like, okay, we're not getting a Blade movie. We might as well have fun with Blade. So this has been making the rounds, and bruh, I was just like, I'm just done for real. I'm right there with you. So somebody had too much time on their hands and decided to make Gary Coleman Blade. So this is hilarious. I wanted to share with you. What you talking about, Whistler? I mean, you know, shout out to Reggie Collects, because he was the first one I saw with this picture. And shout out to my man, 1 in 100 Podcast, because he was on there laughing too. I was just like, man, I was just not, it was over. It was over. I gotta say, this made my day. That is too funny, man. Everybody loves Gary Coleman. Everybody loves Blade. So we just like, you know what? We just gonna have fun with it. Marvel, y'all trash. So you know what we gonna start doing? We just gonna start poking fun at some of your characters. And, you know, you got to really be, you know, just no soul whatsoever to not dig this. As funny as this is, I would pay to see Gary Coleman in a Blade. CGI and AI is a problem. It's a problem, y'all. So, y'all, welcome to the show. That's how we coming in. We coming in guns blazing tonight. You know, and like my man, you know, Denzel, Derek, please remind the people about our comic book community and entertainment in general. We've been
I say it again, you've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
Yeah. So we got some stuff to talk about tonight. So we're gonna put away the foolishness for a little while, and we want to acknowledge a couple of people. Back on April 17th in 2025, illustrator Robert B. Stoll passed away, known as Rob Stoll. He passed away after an illness. Stoll had 20 years in animation illustration business. He worked for all the major publishers in the industry, including Marvel Entertainment, DC Comics, and Warner Brothers. His work can be seen gracing the pages of superstar titles that include Project Spider-Man Adventures, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Force, Wolverine, Nightwing, Batman, and JLA. His talent encompassed a wide variety of jobs, working as an illustrator, a penciler, and an inker. This is Robert Stoll. But in our community, you know what I'm saying, there's a few books that he did I want us to acknowledge. You probably got a few Robert Stoll books in your long boxes and you may not know, but he was featured in Milestone Forever, issue number 2. I think that's what that is. And the Firestone Volume 3 books he wrote, or he illustrated, inked on several of those books. So shout out to him, Robert B. Stoll. Want to just acknowledge the king for his work in comics and even on our books. So he did a lot of things mainstream wise, but as far as our community, these are books that we collect. And, you know, he worked with Jamal Eichel. And he worked Milestone. Yeah, he did Black Firestone. Yes, he did. So yeah, so shout out to them. Shout out to the people of Boston, Massachusetts, or Massachusetts in general. He was, you know, well popular, well known on the East Coast out that way. So we want to say rest in peace. Condolences to his family. You know, we got that kind of information, unfortunately, late, but he did pass on April the 17th. So it's been a few weeks since that. We want to acknowledge him. Rest in peace. Also, we want to recognize another individual named Jackson Butch Geis. Jackson Butch Geis, he's a white dude, but he did some work on some dope books. Jackson Butch Geis, he died on May 1st, 2025. He's an acclaimed artist for Marvel and DC since the early 1980s and the co-creator of the iconic X-Men villain Apocalypse. Okay, guys? Yeah, he co-created that character. He passed away at age 63, according to a social media message from Geis's brother-in-law, James Sattel. Geis had been recently dealing with some health issues, and so he just passed away as well. But he did work on Megaton. He worked on an early Deathlock, Michael Collins, and Black Panther and the Crew, that whole series. He worked on that as well. He's a dope artist, and, you know, hey, this is a solid dude, and so rest in peace to his family as well. So yeah, wanted to just acknowledge him. He did a lot of books, a lot of Superman books, Action Comics, you know. So I'm sure you got some Jackson Geis books in your long boxes as well. So wanted to just send thoughts and prayers, condolences to his family and to all of his fans. He will be missed for sure. So yeah. Want to go on and get into the centers. We're going to talk about centers real quick. We're going to kind of be dealing with centers a little bit, but just for those who have not seen the movie Centers, or you would like to see the movie in the way it was intended to be seen, which is IMAX. Centers will return to IMAX theaters after Thunderbolts gets its 2-week run. So Ryan Coogler's Centers has left IMAX screens after a standard 2-week run in order to make room for Marvel's Thunderbolts, which was just released. However, in a rare move, IMAX has announced that Centers will return to IMAX after Thunderbolts gets its own 2-week run. So Thunderbolts, Centers has done so well, and people want to see this movie not on just a regular movie screen. They want to see it in IMAX, the way it was supposed to be seen. So yes, y'all finna give Ryan Coogler and the good people that's behind Centers some more bread. So yeah, so shout out to them for that. Speaking of Thunderbolts, Derek, I need Malcolm's help again.
Oh, I say it again. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
So, Thunderbolts. Who'd have thought? Nobody asked for this movie. The black community didn't ask for this movie. The white community didn't ask for this movie. Nobody asked for this movie. But go to the movies. Let me just tell you, let me lay this out. So to give you, I want to just share my Thunderbolts experience. Okay. So first of all, the MCU is in the toilet. Let me just say that. Let me tell you why they're literally in the toilet, how bad it is. I saw this movie with about 3 or 4 people in the theater. Okay? I don't know what the numbers is on Thunderbolts right now, but the early on going to the theaters, that kind of thing, seeing it, because I saw it Thursday. I saw it Thursday afternoon. And so I was like, man, and maybe people went to the theater Friday and Saturday to see it, but he says, I heard Thunderbolts may be okay. No. Thunderbolts is fire. Thunderbolts was fantastic. Thunderbolts caught everybody by surprise. My man says a dead clock is right twice a day, OG. Of course. But I'm like, nobody was expecting this movie to be that good. This movie is incredible. They told a dope story. And now, let me be honest with you. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, so y'all might want to go see it. But I'm gonna tell you what this movie is about. This movie, apart from the superhero stuff and the characters, well, this movie is about depression. What it's like to have depression. This is a very, he says, word that look like trash. No, it's not trash. It's not trash. I promise you. Y'all, I'm now listen. I am just going to tell you straight up. This was a very good movie. Very good movie. Now, part of our appeal to it has been we had no expectations, but this was a very, very good movie. I promise you. I promise you, it's a very good Marvel movie. It shocked. It shocked me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not expect it to be this good. It's got action in it, but it's a story about, struggle with depression. It's a very good film, y'all. So it's dark. It's very dark. This ain't no sunshine. It's got some humor in it or whatever, but the movie is very, very dark, but it's amazing. You guys will enjoy it. I promise you. I promise you. If you watch this movie and you hate on it, you just a hater. You just a straight hater. There's no way you can go into this theater, watch the movie, see it for what it is, and come out of that movie and be like, oh man, that was garbage. No. No, this is a good film. Very good film. Very good film. I promise you. That's why I say we were led astray. We were bamboozled. Everybody thought this movie was gonna be garbage. And the word is out that this is like hovering around Eternals type box office money. But I promise you, bro, it's a good movie. The MCU, I'm not saying that the MCU is bad. I'm not gonna go that far, but it definitely caught everybody by surprise. The peoples that wrote this movie and directed it and all that, man, they did the doggone thing. I promise you, that movie is good. That movie is good. I cannot hate on it whatsoever. You early on, you care about these characters. You see their story, their struggle, and you cheer for them. I promise you, bro, it is amazing. It is amazing. Y'all go check that out. For real. For real, for real. So, they did their thing, man. And I think part of it was nobody really expected much out of it. So they just literally told a dope story. It's got action in it. It's got, you care about all the characters. I mean, it's everything you want a Marvel movie to be. I'm gonna just say it like that. These characters that are in the movie, a lot of people don't care about. So maybe the Winter Soldier, and maybe on a good day, maybe John Walker. But I promise you, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. Blew my mind, man. Blew my mind. I'm like, this is one of them, zero at the buzzer, win the game, go home. I mean, it's that fire. I promise. And like it says, stay to the very end. Stay to the very end. And here's the thing too. I like what Frustrated said. Most people who aren't comic book fans wouldn't know, but they don't need to know. That's the dope part about it. You go into this theater, you don't necessarily need to know anything about the Thunderbolts. If you know the stuff, the backstory on some of these characters, that'll be great. But it's a movie that you can just go see. You can take your girl, you can take some of your kids or whatever. It's not a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a crude film. It's actually pretty entertaining, and it's not crude at all. It's not crude at all. It's a family film. but they do deal with some dark themes, and depression is the biggest thing. And Century, who is the quote unquote, you can't even really call him a villain. Just watch the movie, you'll understand when I say that. But Century was pretty good. I think they did pretty good with Century. But yeah, so y'all go check that out. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it. It says, Rich, who do you think is going to replace the team member of the Thunderbolts that died? That makes sense. Don't spoil it, Anthony. I'm trying not to spoil it. Now, I don't really know. See, me personally, what I would like Luke Cage. I would like to see Luke Cage lead the Thunderbolts. That's comic book accurate. So Luke Cage being part of the Thunderbolts would be all right for me. I wouldn't be mad at that. So yeah. So anyway, Clay says everything felt natural. Absolutely. It's a banging movie, y'all. It's a banging movie. I was pleasantly surprised. This movie, I'm gonna be honest, this movie had no business being as good as it was because there was no hype behind this movie whatsoever. I've seen ads every now and then, you know what I'm saying? But man, y'all gonna be saying, if you have not seen it, you're gonna be saying, Captain America, what? Who? Yeah, that was the John. So hey, y'all, I mean, you know, we're getting ready. The spring is here, it's going into summer. You know, we got Fantastic Four coming up. We got what else? Superman coming up as well. So yeah, it's a movie low-key messed me. I mean, of course, it messed me up. Listen, if you are sensitive, you might cry. You might have to wipe your eye. It's some moments in the movie where, yeah, it gets you in the feels. But no, it's a banging movie though. Y'all go check that out. One of the podcasts is not the best MCU movie, and it doesn't put the MCU back on top, not just yet, but it's a very good jumping point. Absolute. So yeah, man, y'all go check out the Thunderbolts. So anyway, we want to pivot, and I want to talk about centers real quick. We're gonna go back and talk about centers. Now, there were a lot of themes in centers that people have been talking about, exploring, and so I kind of want to be a troll tonight. I kind of want to be a troll. I don't want to go full Herschel, but I kind of want to be a troll. So first of all, shout out to Edit with Ego on TikTok. Edit with Ego on TikTok. Y'all go check him out, follow him. He's been doing a lot of center stuff lately. I got this from him. I was watching a video that he did talking about wooden nickels. Okay, now, as far as the story goes, we know that there's a part of the film where Smoke is upset that they are accepting wooden nickels as currency, you know, to pay for drinks at the juke joint. All right. So if you don't know anything about history, wooden nickels have been around since, some people say as early as the late 1800s. Some say, you know, early as in the 1930s. But it was basically a substitutionary coin or wooden coin that people used in place of real currency. There was an old saying, people says, don't use no, you know, don't bring me no wooden nickels, or don't give me no wooden nickels, don't take no wooden nickels. And so one of the things that was said in regards to wooden nickels is, you got to understand something about the theme or the thought behind wooden nickels, right? And quote unquote, this is what was, you know, my man Eddie with Eco kind of posted on his TikTok. He said, don't be fooled or cheated. Don't accept something that is worthless. It's a reminder to be cautious and not readily accept something that seems too good to be true or clearly a substitute of value. Okay? in essence, don't let people persuade you that something is valuable that is not. This is a comic book group. We talk about entertainment, we talk about news, we talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, or whatever. But at the core of who Black Comic Lords is, we are a comic book group. And my question to you guys is this. You don't have to answer, but I'm just asking the question. Have we accepted wood and nickels in the comic book space? Have you read some books that you thought was going to be fire and come to find out they wasn't even worth the ink that was written on? Have you been victim of some wood nickels? He's like, have you gone to the comic shop? Not the juke joint, but have you gone to the comic shop, bought something, and you said, you know what? This is trash. Wouldn't you say, dang, Ryan was taking shots at the MCU, just kidding. Yeah. I think we've all have been sold some wood nickels. And, that's why I cannot be mad at someone who chooses not to buy certain books or chooses not to support certain guys or whatever. I really can't be mad at it, especially if I've read the material or I've seen the material and I know that this ain't worth what the price they're asking for. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. If you got some bad stuff, you got some bad stuff. Now, Frustrated says, I think there are some wood nickels, but we have gotten some great currency. We have. But bro, it's some wood nickels. It's some wood nickels in my long boxes. But again, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trolling and poking at fun, and we're not gonna get specifics, but all of us have been given something or sold something that initially we thought was gonna have some value. And it wasn't worth the ink on. It's just axe marble cross. That's what we do in Style So Serious. Oh my goodness. Axe the whole, that matter of fact, let's see. DC put out a crossover series, the long winter, I think that's what it was called. That was a wood nickel. Yeah. We've gotten some wood nickels, y'all. He says, trying like trash Gonza. It's smooth. What's going on, Smooth Approach? So yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We've gotten some stuff that we didn't, somebody, came to us or recommended to us something, and man, you gotta check this out. This dope, this fire. And you get to be like, man, that was trash. Now, I hope that I have not recommended something to you guys that was trash. I hope I don't want that on my record. I'm not perfect, but I'm just saying that makes people feel, I feel bad when somebody recommends something and we don't get what we paid for. So L Dog starts us off the night with a dope super chat. That's what's up. Good evening, good people. That's what's going. Let's go. One in 100 podcast said that superhero plantation book from Marvel straight wouldn't. Issue 4 was better though. I know everybody. Sam Wilson can't catch a break. That's all I'm gonna say. X-Men Manhunt was extremely wooden. The collector says, like Chuck Dixon writing on Midnighter and Grifter. Any updates on X-Force? X-Force, actually, there's no real updates, brother man. Only that, it ended the series that Jeffrey Thorne wrote, ended at issue number 10. Issue 10 was very, very good. And yeah, so yeah, it got canceled. So brother has been reading Chamberlain. Wow. Okay. So Sierra, what's good with you? Thoughts on DC's Power Company? So yeah, we might as well go on and transition. But before we transition to that book, Derek, I just need to go ahead and just play Malcolm again.
Oh, I say it again. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
Okay. All right. Let me just say that DC Power, or DC, the Power Company Recharged, that was not a good comic book. I'm going to tell you why. I know some people think it's fire or whatever, but and probably it wasn't what I was looking for. I'll say it like that. The art on this book is amazing. Let me just say that from the jump. The art by itself, the cover art, the variants were fire. Okay? That's fine. The story itself is okay. Brian Edward Hill wrote this book, and this is no shot at Brian Edward Hill. This is more a shot at DC editorial. And the reason why I'm saying it like that, what's going on, Robert Monroe? The reason why I'm saying it like that is because I was looking for more of the Power Company to be actually featured in this book. Instead, what we got was a Batman comic book with DC or Power Company characters. Batman, now let me tell you something. The Batman, shout out, AKA J Spox, is a cool character. I didn't like the way he was written in this story. If I closed my eyes and didn't know that it was J Spox, it sounded like Bruce. He sounds like Bruce. I mean, he didn't want to work with nobody. He was very standoffish in the book. He was just kind of had his nose down. He literally was staring at them from like Vixen in the book says, looking like a gargoyle. It had too many Bruce Wayne-ish themes in it, if I can say it like that. Bruce, when he's moody and he don't want to be bothered with anybody, he has a certain attitude. Pericles said, Bruce Wayne dipped in chocolate. That's exactly what, unfortunately, Jace Fox is depicted as. Now, Jace Fox in I Am Batman, and in the last DC Power book from 2024, whatever the book that just came out in February, he's not depicted like this. And so I'm like, I was kind of taken aback that they would even go this direction. So I don't know what was on editorial's mind. So I'm not going to lie, Rich, I wasn't feeling the Power Company. I don't think nobody was either. We didn't get the Power Company. We really didn't get it. Josiah Power didn't really do much, say much in the book, even though it's supposed to be a Power Company book. Black Lightning literally had one bubble. He was in like 2 scenes in the whole book. He's featured on the cover. He's in the book, but he literally got like one bubble where he talks. Other than that, he's not saying nothing. He's not doing nothing. You know, Signal and Vixen are kind of deferring to Batman because Batman works alone. I'm like, dude, what are they doing? They just kind of like, they. And so what I'm gonna be honest, I kind of think they sabotaged this book because it does not look like they were going the direction that Brandon Thomas took in Black Lightning, connecting with DC, connecting with the Power Company. This looks like an audible. I don't know. I mean, it's like a hard right. They took a hard right. It wasn't a pivot. It was literally a hard right. So I don't know. Brother man said, yeah, they kind of do Power Company wrong, so my apologies. Frustrated says, okay, Saturday said I went to Free Comic Book Day. Nobody was buying the Power Company. I skimmed through it, but didn't grab it. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't tell people to go buy this book. I just can't. If you like covers, if you like dope art, knock yourselves out. There they are. They fight. But as far as the story itself, and it's a one shot. So we don't know if we're gonna get any more stories. I don't know. I just do not know. It just like I don't know what was the thought behind this one shot. It's kind of like, you know, Signal wants Batman's help. He's like, hey, I need your help with this. If you don't help me, I'm gonna do it myself or whatever. So he says, well, meet me down here such and such. He shows up with Josiah, Power, and Vixen. And so it's like, hey man, don't do this again. That's literally what he says to the Signal. Don't do this again. And so I guess, I don't know if he was under the impression that he was joining the team or what. Shout out to my man, Bo Big. What up? What's going on? Good evening to you, sir. Let's go, Derek.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, you know, again, I just really, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I hate, listen, I saw some people on the internet saying how this book is fire. But I'm like, what are y'all reading? How is this fire? Especially if you read the previous material and you get this, you get a Batman that literally is dipped, Bruce Wayne dipped in chocolate. It's his demeanor. They're supposed to be different. The whole point of a quote unquote a Batman and putting him in Brooklyn was to give him his own identity and give him his own character, so to speak. But you can't do that and want success for that character. That's why I say they sabotage this book. And that's just my thoughts on it initially. Eldar says 100% agree on the story of the Power. The artwork was fire though. Yeah. Anthony Manzona says, I was watching a stream recently and they were talking about Luke Cage and they said that was Marvel's response to the black exploitation of movies in the 1970s. Do you agree with that? Yeah, I mean, Luke Cage was that. He was Luke Cage, to a certain degree, Black Lightning as well. It was the times. It was the 70s. In the 70s, bell bottoms and, you know, super black men and, you know, doing their thing and having they meat, they taco meat out or whatever. That was a part of the time. Yeah, he was definitely a response to that, for sure. Yeah. Brother Man says, I do not agree about Luke Cage, and ignorant people will say almost anything. Poor analogy. In terms of what? In terms of what, Brother Man? I don't understand that. I mean, he was a response to that. That's what Marvel did. If you go back and you look at the cover of Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, matter of fact, Derek, since Brother Man brought that up, he says, more like Akbar, not Luke Cage. Okay, all right, that's a different conversation. You don't have to do that, Derek. I thought he was saying something else. Okay, Vagrant says, Shang-Chi was a reply to Kung Fu movies getting popular. Oh, of course, that's what they all did. The comic book companies did that. Black Lightning came out in 1977, which is right in the throw of all, the black exploitation. Luke Cage just made 50 years old just recently. It was a part of the times. Yep. Moa says, one less book I need to purchase. I want this book to be fire. I mean, the covers is great. The art is fantastic. The art is stellar. I can't hate on the art. You know what I'm saying? There's some dope artists that were in the book, that were featured in the book. Let me tell you who they are. So Aletha Martinez, Karen Randolph, Roman Rapmund, Ray Anthony Height, and Studio Sky Tiger are the artists, and Emilio Lopez and Alex Guimarães were the colorists. Edwin Gallman did the cover, and so Sanford Green did a variant cover. Ryan Benjamin did a variant cover. Marquise Draper is an editor on the book, and Brittany Holzer is the senior editor. So I don't know. I kind of want to get at Brittany since she's the senior editor, but I just kind of thought that the direction that they took in this book, it didn't do the power company any. It didn't do them any favors, because Batman is like, I'm not a part of the team. So you got somebody that's not a part of the team, kind of running things on a team he's not a part of, and you got kind of like Signal and Vixen kind of like backing him up or whatever. And Black Lightning is just hanging out with Josiah, not doing that. So now, sorry. From an art standpoint, chef's kiss. It's great. Writing on it, not so much so. So again, I don't think that nothing's wrong with the writing itself, but the story itself. Editorial should have kind of knew. They should have kind of picked that up. If you're going to do a one shot, it has to be complete, and you don't want to leave, strings. Why even introduce Batman into this? Jace Fox into this if he's not going to be a part? I don't know. Frustrated said, so you were looking for at least an original team member to still be part of the power company? That would have been nice. They don't have to necessarily be, but at the same time, when did Vixen join the power company? I know that they were putting up things a while, like, okay, she could be a part of the team. Luke Fox could be a part of it. Luke Fox could be a part of the team. Or Duke Thomas, I'm sorry, could be a part of the team. But it's like we never really got who was on the power team. It was just literally forming the team. Black Lightning, we knew for sure. And because they talked about it in the Black Lightning series that he was going to be a part. He wouldn't fully commit, but he was going to be a part. So I'm like, it's a power company book. So Anthony Marzano asks a question. He says, Rich, in your honest opinion, are Black Lightning, Luke Cage, and Static Shock characters that you have to start from the beginning, or can you jump in to later issues and still understand it? You can. It's always, I always recommend people go back and get the first appearance of a character or the origin story of a character. That's always good to just kind of know what's the background of that character, right? So you can kind of figure out what the MO is. But most of the Luke Cage books, you can kind of do that. You can kind of jump in. Black Lightning, there's not a lot of Black Lightning volumes out there for you to just like go ham over. Though Black Lightning is featured in team books. He's featured in the Outsiders, Batman and the Outsiders book. He's featured in some Justice League books. He's done some limited series with Blue Devil in his own volumes. He's got like 3 volumes of Black Lightning books. So I always recommend you start with issue 1 of any volume that you choose, because generally when they start over a comic book, some of the origin or some of the origins or who that character is revealed. So Is it always a good thing? No, but you can pick up. With Static particularly, not so much so. I think that with Static, you have to kind of start with the original Static run. I wouldn't tell somebody to go read Static Shock, right, and think you're good. No, you need to go read the Milestone stuff where he's just Static, not Static Shock. Brother Man said there are only two original Power Company members because of what happened, maybe three if the disappeared member decides to return. Yeah. Now, Jamal says, it wouldn't shock me if editorial had them refocus the direction around Batman like they did in The Outsiders. I mean, they could do that, but why make Jace Fox like Bruce Wayne? Why do that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's already a legacy character. You already got that going against him, but now you want to make the guy dipped in chocolate or you know, like someone would say, just, you know, we're grabbing the brown crayon and we're making them black today. You give them different mentality, or give them different attitudes or personalities. Don't, because he really just not. He was really antisocial, which is kind of what I get from Batman, from Bruce Wayne. You know, when Bruce Wayne is solving a crime, he doesn't want to, you know, he don't want to be bothered. He don't care who you are. He used to give Clark grief. What you doing here? What you doing in Gotham? That kind of thing. No, don't make him like that. Because in the DC Power book, they were playing. I don't know if they were playing dominoes or spades or whatever. He had a kind of good relationship with Signal, but this just looked weird to me in this book. Now, Ray says maybe the reason why DC published this new Power series so they could maintain the trademark / copyright on the name, and they weren't all concerned about making the series good. Could be. Definitely won't put it past them. Stossel says, say, put Boat on the team. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that at all. So yeah, so that's what happened with that, you know what I'm saying? So I bought the book. It was on my pull list, you know what I'm saying? But I can't tell nobody to go out and spend $5.99 for this book. I mean, because it feels like a book that's just, you know, a waste of characters almost, in a sense. We don't know if we're going to get any more books. And if they're waiting for sales to be something popping to get more of these books, you already know how that's going to go. Yeah. Bo Big say to say the book was underwhelming is for sure an understatement. Yeah. MD says DC need to commit. Yeah, I agree. We thought they was. We thought they had committed, but Derek, tell them what Malcolm said.
Oh, I say it again. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
Yeah. They seem like they're going to do something, and then, you know, we get stuff like this. I don't know, y'all. He said, I don't think the book was that bad, but I understand the disagreement. I don't think it was bad, frustrating. I don't think it was a bad book, but I can't say that was a good book. I can't say that it was a good book because of what it entailed. You know what I'm saying? You hype us up for this DC Power Recharged with Black Lightning is going to be in. We just had a Fire Black Lightning limited series. We got the DC Power book with Josiah Powell. It was a good jump off point for that, to get this one shot, and it's kind of like, what? So, you know, I'm like, come on, y'all. 100 podcasts, I'm starting a new rule. Every time I buy a black book from the big two and they trash it, I will drop one of their books off my pool. Yeah, we got to start. We got to get our protests on. We got to get our protests on. Yeah, content was so underwhelming and off key. Yeah, and again, you know, Brian Edward Hill's a dope writer. The writing, there was nothing wrong with the writing. It was the direction that they took the book in. That was my issue with the book. I can't say that the book is bad, but I can't say the book is good either. But to me, the editorial decision to navigate this particular new quote unquote or re-energized property that you were introducing new readers to, no, you gave us Jace Fox dipped in Bruce Wayne. That's not Jace Fox. Jace Fox, that was what made I Am Batman different, or why we were able to enjoy it. Because it was nothing. He was, even though he had the Batman suit, the cowl, and all that, he was nothing like Bruce Wayne. Now he's antisocial, don't want to be bothered. So it is what it is. Anthony Mazzano says, Rich, you know how movie box office is depending on the movie grows legs at the movie as the movie gets further, and sometimes those comic sales work like that too. Yeah, but you know, and I know in terms of people going out to buy this book. I mean, to me, in my humble opinion, people were trying to not necessarily sabotage this book, but it was kind of early on. People kind of whispers were kind of saying that this wasn't going to be a good book. And I'm not saying it's a terrible book. I did not enjoy it because of the direction he took. There was nothing wrong with the writing. It's just the story itself that I thought was whack. Now, one on the podcast says, what did you pick up on Free Comic Book Day, OG? I need to ask this for y'all. Make me put my kufi in. Okay, so Free Comic Book Day. Shout out to everybody that went out for Free Comic Book Day. There was not a lot to grab. It just really wasn't. I did grab the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar book. I grabbed that. I grabbed the Marvel Voices, which has supposedly I think a new story in it. But most of the stories in the Marvel Voices are the same. I grabbed that. I think I grabbed the Energon Universe book. I grabbed the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man book. I grabbed that. I grabbed a Scout Comics book. I don't have it in front of me, but I grabbed that as well. So it wasn't a lot of stuff. I mean, there was a lot of books available, and I think I grabbed the Godzilla book. It was a Free Comic Book Day Godzilla book. I grabbed that. So I didn't grab a lot of. It wasn't just a lot to be excited about. When we covered Free Comic Book Day here on the channel on the Wednesday wrap up, we knew that there wasn't a lot of books that were for us that was going to be featured. It was literally like one book, I think, like one or two, maybe two. That we could say, hey, y'all go out and get this one. But it wasn't last comic book, free comic book this year was not as good as it was, in my opinion, last year. He said, I didn't see that Kareem book. Now I'm seeing it everywhere. Yeah. It was, and that book was not advertised at all. I did not see that book available. I literally went to one of my LCSs and saw it, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that was doing that. I grabbed it. So MD says, I bought the last two copies of The Power Company and Bitterroot Wednesday. I was shocked by to be continued. Yeah. Well, they say that to be continued. Hopefully they'll continue it and do something that makes sense, in my opinion, for it. But yeah. Sierra said there was a Black Mirror free comic. I don't need to be traumatized. Black Mirror is already traumatizing as a show. I don't need a comic book to traumatize me further, Sierra. But I did enjoy Bitterroot. Bitterroot was dope. Bitterroot was dope. I am definitely enjoying Bitterroot. Yeah. Love the Sangreen family, man. It's dope. Yeah. So Bitterroot was definitely a great comic book to read. Matter of fact, it was probably the best book I had this week. In all honesty, it was Bitterroot. And I wasn't sorely let down by the DC Power book, but it was just kind of like, man, come on, y'all could have did better. So yeah. Brother Man says, I'm taking it you picked up Tartarus and Bonock. Shout out to Rodney Bones. Frustrated said, I love the 70s style covers. Yeah, they dope. So Mariah is now my favorite character. Yeah, they doing their thing. Shout out to the squad at Bitterroot, man. We definitely need their books. Definitely going to enjoy this. I know it's a limited series. I would like an ongoing, but it's okay. David Walker, Sanford Green, and Chuck Brown will continue to give us content that I know that we enjoy. I'm definitely looking forward to David Walker's new project that he's working on, been talking about on the internet lately. Yeah. Hey, are we going back to the Sinners Convo? I mean, what you want to talk about? What you want to talk about? Frustrated. We are part of Chat Talk, so whatever you want to talk about, this is the part of the show where we talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. So, if y'all don't want to talk about bad comic books or what you guys are reading or what you think, what you recommend, we can talk about whatever. He said, Rich, do you think they should? No, Kenneth. Shout out to Kenneth. He says, Rich, do you think they should do an absolute Black Lightning and Dixon books? I would dig a Vixen book. I don't know about an absolute Black Lightning. I would be intrigued. And the only reason I'm saying that is because, Black Lightning is my guy, is my favorite character. And so for them, it's kind of like, I don't know how they would do it, if that makes any sense. Vixen is intriguing for me in that, you could really do some things with Vixen. Vixen's a very powerful character, very, sorely underused. More so than Black Lightning. And Vixen has been in a lot of Justice League books, but she hasn't had a lot of individual shine. I would just take a Vixen comic book. If they want to do an absolute Vixen, I'll be all for it, for sure. MD says, are you interested in the Chamberlains? I am, but I did not see. I'm not sure when the Chamberlains is in the stores, if it came out or not. I know I did not see it. I know I didn't pre-order it. People started showing covers of it, I think, last week. So I'm not sure if it's already been out or it's on the way out. I'm not sure about that. Chaswick says, Bronze Tiger is my favorite DC character. That's what's up. Moan says, last week picked up Absolute Martian Manhunter. Have you read that yet? I have not. And the truth be told, I wasn't motivated to pick it up. Nothing against Martian Manhunter, but I was just kind of like, I'm reading Absolute Batman, reading Absolute Superman, and reading Absolute Wonder Woman. So I didn't want to go all the way in with the Absolute stuff. Shout out to my man Amir. I think he was asking me about Absolute Flash. And I'm like, the word is it's pretty good. So I'm like, DC's getting enough of my bread as is. But Brother Man 2 says Martian Manhunter is good. Okay, I might have to check it out. Jay, Marvel Imperial, we will get Intergalactic Black Panther. Yes, we will. Yes. Jonathan Hickman is taking you guys to Wakanda in space. So yeah, looking forward to that too. We'll be talking about that book. And even the Black Panther book is getting ready to come out, written by Christopher Priest. Looking forward to that too. Hopefully it will be good and none of us will be trolled. Frustrated says, I felt that the Sinners movie was about how influence happens and how when certain people are influenced, it can make even brothers turn on each other. Absolutely. There's a lot of layers to the Sinners movie. We could literally spend probably a month covering everything that was in this movie. Ryan Coogler did an amazing job. with story, a complete volume of story, if you will, that has the potential to do other things and branch off shows and prequels and sequels. He's got all of that mixed in that he can do a lot of different things with. It was very deep. It was very, very deep. Some people call it sacrilegious. I'm not one of those people. I think that there's nothing wrong with exploring truth and also exploring the truth when it's challenged. I have no problem with that whatsoever. We talk about things like spirituality or whatever. People that don't really understand spirituality or don't understand the spirit realm are, I would say, intimidated by it. But those of us that do, it's not a big deal. You just, this world is big, and there's a lot of different philosophies and ideologies and different things that are in this world. And so what side you fall on is purely up to you. But at the same time, it's kind of like we don't want to minimize the story itself, because the story is about a preacher's kid who wants to, play the blues. At the core of this is what this is. Now, a lot of stuff comes up out of that, right? But at the end of the day, it's about choosing to live the way you want to live, and people choosing the way for you to live. You have a right to make your own decisions. No one takes that from you, or should take that from you. Moan says we need Queen to write a Black Panther series again. They need to stop playing. When you say the Queen, Moan, are you talking about Eve Ewing, or are you talking about Cheryl Lynn Eaton? Jay says, I may wait to read the issue 2 of The World We Know and y'all thoughts if I'm going to purchase it. Christianity, like everything in this world, brought trauma and caused pain. Are we forgetting the witch trials, Christianity's overall science about slavery and other injustices? Now, collectively, let me just say that in response to the whole thing, because the word Christianity is a loaded term. And what I mean by that is that what people think Christianity is often is not. What has been passed off as Christianity has been a philosophies and ideologies that move certain people to the top of things and minimize people on the bottom of things. It's kind of like, I can't throw the baby out with the bathwater in that regard. Were a lot of things done? Absolutely, in the name of religion. But that's been every religion. That's been every religion. I joke with people sometimes, and I tell people, only Christ get the nails. No one's going at Islam's neck. No one's going after Buddhists. No one's going after Krishna. Everybody comes from Christianity, though, as if Islam and Buddhism and all these other religions hadn't done things similar or, the same things. It's all relative, So the thought is when the crimes or the sins of a certain group come up or whatever, we have a okay reality of it, as long as that they're the villain, they're the bad guy, and everything they do is bad. Granted, and I'm not here to dispel or remove history, and I make people laugh when I say this, but let some people tell it. Christianity, which did use slavery in this country to enslave people, it did, but they use that as the thing to see that that's all Christianity is. You don't realize that Christianity had been in Africa 1,000 years before the slave trade. Before the slave trade. You get no one to talk about that. No one talks about that part of history, even though it's well documented even though it's the history that we talk about is so recent, but they don't want to talk about the time in which Ethiopia and other parts in Africa were the dominant culture when it comes to Christianity. That never gets discussed. The Clay says, I meant in the sense that people are acting like religion is above criticism. Absolutely, I understand it. I mean, the only issue I have with that is, deconstruction is okay as long as you're willing to construct. After you deconstruct something, regardless of what that thing is, make sure you can construct something or provide a better construct. Because when we tear stuff down or when we pull things back or whatever, and we lay things bare, are we leaving it bare just to show you that this is what this really is? Or what are we aspiring to do after that? Because that's oftentimes a conversation that we don't want to have. Okay, you've shown what this is, or you critically think about what this is. And Sinners is one such movie where you can literally deconstruct it or whatever. But after you finish the deconstruction of it, how do you construct it, and how does it go on past its initial story? Because that's the thing about a story like this. Inspiration can grow from it. Inspiration can grow from it. And I want to make sure that we as the consumers recognize that. It's like Black Panther when it came out, the first Black Panther movie. What are the stories that came out of the Black Panther movie that we can say, that was inspired by Black Panther? I have yet to hear anybody say that my comic book or my story was inspired by that movie. I've seen a lot of people say a lot of stuff and talk about a lot of different things, but nothing that says that I got my inspiration directly from this film. Even though people say that it was an awesome experience and this, that, and the third, very little actually came out of that movie, unfortunately. With Chadwick passing and them not recasting the character, just further did damage that they still are trying to repair, unfortunately. Yeah. So Clay says, I hear you. I meant in the sense to expose the broken pieces in order to fix it. And absolutely. I'm not eclectic. I'm actually confirming or affirming what you're saying. I'm just saying, let's go past that as well. Let's go beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, at the end of the movie, you see in Sinners, you see the guy. He's in the church playing his guitar. He went back to the church even after all it was said and done. This movie took place literally in the whole night, one night. It felt like it went on forever in the day. And of course, we know that years later, he is playing the blues in different places or whatever, and Stack shows up. And, got the Biggie sweater on, Coogee sweater on, or whatever. Is hilarious to me. But I think one of the things that comes out of a story like that and trauma like that is you survive. We always survive. Many people get left behind or many people die in the struggle, but you will survive. There will be people who will survive. The trauma in which slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, sharecropping, all of that, we survive, and there's so much to that movie. It's a beautiful movie. I know people that have seen that movie multiple times. I will probably go see it again when it gets to IMAX, when it comes back out. But yeah, it's a dope movie for sure. Sammy's choice is his therapy. Music is a way of overcoming and processing trauma. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, the blues is secular, is spiritual music. It's just in a secular format. The blues tell you how it is, whereas the sacred music tells you to have hope, to, see God in the midst of everything. But the blues man is just telling you that this is what it is where I am. I got my guitar. I'm singing about this woman that broke my heart, or I'm singing about these blues that I'm feeling. That's the blues. We all can relate to the blues. Style So Serious said the Pope should box for the title. Yeah, I said it. Stop. Stop, Styles. Stop. That's actually shout out to Chuck Brown. When Chuck Brown, for those of you who don't know, Chuck Brown wrote a book a couple of years ago, and God, what's the name of that book? It escapes me. Now I'm gonna have to try to find it. It's a book about politicians having to throw hands. Amir, I know you're in here. What's the name of that book, bro? I forgot the name of that book. God dog it. What is the name of that book? Let me see. I gotta look for it. Let's see. Nope. On the Stump. That's the name of it. On the Stump. Yeah, On the Stump. On the Stump was about On the Stump was about politicians throwing hands with each other. That was a great limited series. If you want something entertaining to read, go find that series by Chuck Brown. On the Stump, that's the name of it. Shout out to my man Otis. Yep. On the Stump. Very, very good. Very, very good. Sierra says, I keep seeing Sinners versus Philadelphia topics. You know, it's interesting. People have been comparing this to Philadelphia. I think that they have similarities, but I don't really. I think the only similarity is that they are vampires. I think that's the only similarity to the movie, because in Philadelphia is about in the first volume, I would say, Philadelphia is about a father and son who uncover vampires in Philadelphia and how they, fight and work with these vampires, because all the vampires are not evil. Some of the vampires are actually okay. Whereas in Philadelphia, you don't really, in Sinners, you don't see that, where the vampires are okay. There are no good vampires in Sinners. They may appear to be good in terms of that collective consciousness that old boy want them to all have, that they could all sing the same song and, party together and that kind of thing. But yeah, but in Philadelphia, the antagonists are not as clear cut, So yeah. But I will tell people to go and read Philadelphia from the very beginning and read it up to issue 34. Read it in order. You will definitely enjoy it. Has a lot of dope themes to it. So while it's good to compare that story to this, I think that it only is similar because it has vampires in it. And here's the thing, there are many stories out here with vampires, in them. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of material out here that you can read. And 101 podcast says, I hear more people saying it's like Bitterroot. I don't even really think it's like Bitterroot. I think that, it's, and the reason why I'm saying that is because Bitterroot is about a family of vampire killers. There are no vampire killers in Sinners. I think people are liking these things because Philadelphia and Bitterroot are dope stories, which tells me that we don't have enough content that stands out. You know, when's the last time we had something like Sinners to really talk about, share, and discuss? Because, you know, I mean, when Jordan Peele did Get Out, people enjoyed it, but people really wasn't going ham over Get Out. All the things that were in Get Out, all of the things that were in Us. Some people were talking about it and breaking it down, but we hadn't had people, this many people, you know, to talk about the layers of the story that's in Sinners. We hadn't had that in a long while. But we've had our share of horror stories and, you know, black noir fiction and or horror stories, gothic stories. We've had all kinds of different things, but to have it on screen like we see it is amazing. Definitely. Because you said the Choctaw were the vampire killers, and that's the thing about the Choctaw if I had one criticism of the movie, it was that we never saw the Choctaw after that one scene when they were chasing old boy to the house. We never saw him again. In my opinion, they should have put that on either include them in the story or put that on the cutting floor. You know, don't even include it. You know, to me, it didn't serve any purpose. Because we don't know where to go with it, you know what I'm saying? After we didn't see them on screen again, they just kind of disappeared. So the Irish folk that watch Sinners are saying that Remnick isn't a vampire. So if he's not a vampire, what is he? They say he's either a corrupted fae or an Abhartok. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what Ryan Coogler's why did he include the Irish, the influence of Irish people in this film? I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's probably answered that 100 times. I haven't watched a whole lot of videos on Sinners or whatever, because I know that when we did the review of it, I didn't want to like be influenced by different thoughts. I wanted to kind of have my own thoughts and what I saw. And when I go back to see it in the theaters again, I'm sure I will have more thoughts. So yeah. That's their opinion. That's what MD says. And you know what? It's okay. That's the beautiful thing about art. You can interpret that. Now, Brother Man asked a question: is there a blues comic? Yes, there is. Written by Rodney Barnes. Rodney Barnes wrote a book called Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog. The first volume of Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog is about a blues singer. Now, you're not going to get a lot of bluesy stuff in it, but it is about a blues singer. It's about his story and dealing with the industry and that kind of thing, but it's a definitely amazing read. The first volume of Nita Hawes is kind of flawless. Rodney Barnes was in his bag when that book came out. He had Philadelphia humming, then he hits us with the Nita Hawes. That last volume of Nita Hawes was okay because he was dealing with race. In that, it was okay. It was cool for what it was. But that first volume with Howlin' Henry, oh man. Me and Derek on this channel talked about that book. So, Brother Man, if you want to, I don't know if you've read Nita Hawes, but you should go read that. You want a dope volume of a blues comic, horror comic to read? Go read Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, Volume 1. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. Yep. Smooth Brush said the Choctaw can be a series of its own. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. So 1 in 100 podcast says, we know it's going to be a while before Philadelphia. What era do you want Bitterroot to go to next, OG? They're doing the 60s, I think, right now. I mean, take it hip hop. Go 90s. Do something in the 90s. You know? Redman, Wu-Tang, that era. I mean, the 80s were okay. I don't want a disco. I'll put it like this. I don't want a disco Bitterroot. So late 70s, early 80s, no disco. Just go into hip hop. Golden age of hip hop. MD says, y'all breaking my pockets with the recommendations. Keep them coming. Yeah. There's some dope stories out here, y'all. Yeah, Rodney, he says, Sierra says, Rodney Barnes has a dope podcast called Run Food. Yep, he does. And I think that's why we can't get no Philadelphia, because that podcast has been so successful. Yeah. Smooth process, crack era vampires. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? The 90s, you could do some magic. Early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, just I don't want disco. I don't want heroin vampires. Just give us crack vampires. I'm good with that. I got an idea. How about this? How about Snowfall? Snowfall meets Bitterroot. How about that? You can have Franklin Saint. You can have Franklin Saint out there fighting with the Sangrines, you know what I'm saying, trying to get rid of all the vampire crackheads. That's not a crackhead. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what's up. But yo, man, look, I'm gonna go ahead and get out. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on the night. I appreciate you all tremendously. He said, Rich, we just gonna skip the 70s. Bruh, look, the 70s was a blur for me anyway. I'll just say this, that if they did a 70s, which 70s we talking about? Because you got early 70s and you got late 70s or mid 70s. You know what I'm saying? Because, the bell bottoms and all that, Ohio Players, Earth, Wind and Fire, maybe. I'm just saying, bro. We'll be in the 70s for a while. We will be in the 70s for a while. But look, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on tonight. I want to thank you guys for the super chats. I want to thank you guys for your energy. And yeah, eclectic. Have Richard Pryor fighting vampires with Gary Coleman Black. Go ahead. There he is. Shout out to whoever did this. The internet is trash. But whoever did this, Gary Coleman as Blade, is just out of line. So much so I was like, bro, you know what? We gotta put this on the show. If nothing else, just get a good laugh. So anyway, man, let me hit you guys with the benediction. The benediction comes from Proverbs, the 15th chapter, verse number 32. It says, anyone who ignores discipline despises himself, but whoever listens to correction acquires good sense. From the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever, it's your boy Rich. And until next time, we say peace. We'll see you when we see you. And remember, before we get out of here, Derek, hit him one last time with Malcolm.
Oh, I say it again. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
Yep. With that, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys Wednesday wrap up. Till then, we say peace. Love you. Take care of yourselves and each other. We out.